The metal of the tongs feels cold from the smooth handle all the way to the tip. Matt is keeping himself busy with that strange game. He seems to be okay again, but I think he'd be running around all over the place if he'd really come to terms with what happened on the train. I'll let him play for now. I don't know what else to ask her at the moment. Maybe Miss Miller has found something of a soulmate in the archaeologist. Unfortunately, there's no guarantee that the two of them will end up together. People with low self-esteem tend to sabotage their own happiness. I have to talk to the young fellow right away. Even though he was already under arrest at the time of the shot, he may have noticed something before. And what about the other gunshot? Could the second missing bullet from the murder weapon be stuck down there in one of the wooden crates? If I want to get into the cargo hold, he won't let me talk to... The constable is quenching his thirst with a bottle of water. You'll have a problem. Constable Oliver is drinking the water he brought along. Constable Oliver... Mr. Kreutzer clearly feels uneasy. Legrand will attend to the interrogations, and I won't. Lady Westmacott.
By all means, Miss...
Did Miss Miller cope with all the excitement?
I think so. But what happened on the train was quite a shock for her. She wouldn't be able to go on if something happened to Matthew.
She's worried about him.
He's all she has. It breaks her heart that he lives at a boarding school and can't always be with her. But she sets her wishes and needs aside so that he can get a good education. That's her way.
And the idea to send Matt to a boarding school...
was mine. Matthew idolized his father and blamed his mother for the fact that he wasn't around anymore. I was afraid the situation would escalate if he had to live on a country estate alone with his mother and some old people. I think I was right. He quickly made friends at boarding school. He's popular, well-liked. a real athlete according to his teachers, and his relationship with his mother has improved as well. He's headed in the right direction.
Miss Miller told me that you have a valuable manuscript with you.
That is correct.
An unpublished Part 2 novel. The manuscript must be worth a fortune.
Oh, it's not just any Part 2 novel. I wrote it 20 years ago, but it will only be published after my death. It's Part 2's last case. Maurice Part 2 dies.
You're going to kill him off?
I already have. And I enjoyed it.
Madam.
I was so sick of writing one Part 2 novel after another. I was keen to stick a knife in his guts. And so, 20 years ago, I did. Of course, I didn't want to disappoint my fans, so I let him solve case after case. But at least I was certain that he'd never escape me, that in the end, I would get him.
I understand. Let's just hope that this novel remains unpublished for many more years. Where is Matthew's father?
Gone. Run off. Ran away from his problems again. He drank a lot. More and more after each setback. It's better for both of them this way.
He left her.
She couldn't have borne it. She loved him and wanted to stick by him. She fell out with her family over him. They couldn't understand her. And when he left her, the ground opened up beneath her feet. For 2 weeks, she was as good as dead. If she didn't have Matthew, she'd be dead.
You seem to know a lot about it. I mean, about the time before Miss Miller began working for you.
I have my reasons.
And Matthew? Do you care as deeply about the children of your other employees?
If you fail with your own child, you hope to do better with others, Constable.
I have to be going, Lady Westmacott.
Please keep me informed, Constable Zellner.
Of course. I'm sure Captain DeConti wouldn't mind a chat. The death of his mistress doesn't really bother. I need something to open the lock. The key would be best, but a wire would do. I need something to open... We're lucky that the Lydia has a well-stocked medical center at its disposal. I suppose it was added during the war. A ship of this size wouldn't normally have a full medical center. Dr. Gebhardt closed the curtains from inside, which was the right thing to do. Who'd want to be greeted by a corpse on the way to breakfast? Dr. Gebhardt locked the door, and until I have good reason, I won't wake him up. Something tells me that he wouldn't be amused. I guess our stowaway knocked me out. Whatever his story is, he's not a thief. Nothing's missing from my wallet. Small, even stones. Probably easier to handle on a ship than real soil. Some of the down feathers I found in the vase are singed. The message from the desk of the Baroness says, "Inspector, I'm sure that the pillow was used as a silencer. If Legrand doesn't want to hear about it, that's his problem." The Sibling brand reel from the Baroness's cabin, the tape that came on it, and the reel that belongs to the player are both gone. A good slingshot, drawing on the expert knowledge of generations of boarding school students. And combined with the stones, there are countless opportunities for making mischief. I shouldn't bother her until I have some news. Her mind is still razor sharp, and I'll need it to crack this. Miss Miller,
Yes, Constable?
I wanted to ask you something. Lady Westmacott told me that Matt's become a real athlete at his boarding school.
That's true. He's full of energy. His teachers try to calm him down with sports. He's very talented and learns new games very quickly.
I regret to say that was never one of my strong points. It must be good for his self-confidence.
It certainly is. He's settled down and he's become something of a leader in his class. A year ago, I'd have never dared to hope that everything would work out so well.
I'll be seeing you, Miss Miller.
Constable?
I don't know what else to ask her at the moment. I'll let him play for now. Matt is keep, but I think... Maybe Miss Miller has found some for people with... I have to talk to the young fellow right away. And what about... Could this... If he won't... Constable Oliver is drinking the water. I won the slingshot in a hard-fought duel. I won't give it back until I've shot it at least once. But I'll let him play. Matt is keeping himself busy, but I think he'd be running around. Matt is keep, but I think. Little stones make perfect ammunition for the slingshot. Now I just need a suitable target. Some of the down feathers I found in the vase are singed. Even though I could, if I, he won't. The little stones make perfect ammunition for the slingshot. Now I just need a suitable target. Little stone. The sibling brain. The little stones make. He could be more cooperative, but in the end, he's just doing his job. No reason to shoot a stone at his head. All right.
Ow! Ah! Hey, Zola, what in blazes was that?
What?
Something hit me!
You mean Someone shot at you?
Yes, well, no. I don't know. Didn't you notice anything?
I was riveted by the fantastic view. We Swiss aren't used to seeing the horizon like this.
And my bottle's broken too. Oh, I don't believe this. Could you bring me something to drink? Those ham and eggs were pretty salty.
I'm sorry. I have to proceed with my investigations. Goodbye. Let's see how long he can resist his thirst. Not long at all. Nervous? I would be too in your position. Who are you?
My name is Adil. And you are?
Constable Zellner. Why did you sneak onto the ship, Adil?
I wanted to go back home.
You're Egyptian?
There's no work for me in Italy. I want to see my family again.
And since you don't have money, you stowed away.
So what if I did?
So, it was you who knocked me out.
Me? Never.
No? Where were you when I was attacked?
Well, I couldn't take anything with me on this trip, so I snuck into the kitchen and took some canned goods.
Interesting. And how do you know when I was attacked?
Well, I thought it was yesterday, shortly before we set sail.
I take this bump personally. It's hard for me to believe a single word of your story.
Because I'm a foreigner?
Because you seem to have learned our language in the space of a day. Accent-free.
Believe what you want.
Who paid you to distract us?
What?
You went for a walk around the deck and let yourself be seen. Everyone goes off hunting you, and in the meantime, your partner shoots the Baroness in peace.
No, I didn't do anything. I didn't want to distract anyone. I just want to go home.
What were you searching for on deck last night?
I was hiding the whole evening. I wanted to go out and get some fresh air, see the stars. But then suddenly, they were looking for me.
Were you in one of the cabins?
No.
Did you see anyone on the deck or on the roof?
No.
And after we arrested you?
The English policeman put me in this cell. Then he left. I've been here ever since.
And you didn't notice anything along the way?
No, nothing.
What about the gunshot? Didn't you hear it?
Yes. The English policeman had already arrested me. We heard a bang and looked around.
And then?
Then, the Bobby was in a hurry to get rid of me. He almost pushed me down the stairs and locked me in here. He left, and then a short time later, the alarm went off.
Constable Oliver wasn't with you anymore when the alarm went off?
No. I was scared that the ship would sink with me sitting here like a rat in a trap.
You're a liar. And a bad one at that.
But sir, I'm telling the truth.
And I'm the Raven. Inspector Legrand will deal with you. He's lying like a cheap rug. But he probably doesn't know anything about the murder. Very disappointing. So I have to keep searching. What interests me most is the shot that was fired here in the cargo hold last night. The young man is lying like a cheap rug. That much is clear. Somebody put the trunk back on the shelf. I can't tell whether it was our young friend or someone else. It must be uncomfortable traveling like that, even if you're as young and slim as our guest in the cell over there. could take one of the saws with me as a souvenir. On the other hand, it'd remind me of my bump and of my rather inelegant escape. The cargo hold also seems to serve as at least. The cargo hold at least. He can't have anything to do with the murder. When we heard the shot, he was in the custody of Constable Oliver, and I hardly think the two of them are working together. A stroke of luck. The lock is open. Oil-stained overalls. And here, an old toolbox. It's been through a lot. Hardly any paint, dented, and the lid is held shut by a wire. I'll take it with me. Some wrenches, a bit of wire wool, an oily cloth, and here, a screwdriver. I've got a screwdriver. That's all I need. Whoever fired the shot hit the crate. Did the shooter just want to intimidate me? Or maybe he needed the bullet. This piece of wire held the lid of the toolbox closed. The wire is quite strong, but flexible all the same. Well, I think the bullet is still in the wood. I'm not a weapons specialist, but at first sight I'd say that this bullet looks exactly the same as the one Dr. Gebhardt gave me for Legrand. That would mean that the murderer also fired a shot here in the cargo hold before the murder. But why? Did they just want to make sure the old guns still worked? Or was it something else? And did the bullet really come from the same gun? I can only check that in Legrand's cabin. He could be responsible for the bump on the back of my head. And maybe he also stole some things from the buffet. But he's no criminal mastermind. What a pity. I expected more from this interrogation. Legrand can try his luck with him. The bullet resembles the one that the doctor removed from the Baroness's corpse. But I can't be certain until I check it under the microscope in Legrand's cabin.
takes the biscuit.
I noticed that the door was unguarded. I just wanted to make sure that everything was all right.
Tell it to Legrand. He's expressly forbidden anyone to speak to the witness before he does.
All right, let's go to Legrand and tell him what happened. You fell asleep and then you left the door unguarded. Well, are we going?
No, but don't try it again.
Of course not. The constable is battling exhaustion. For his sake, I hope he wins. He can't expect any leniency from Legrand. The constable is battling it. He can't... I don't know what else to ask him at the moment. The bullet resembled, but I... The lock isn't especially secure. I should be able to open it with the wire from the cargo hold. I'm out of practice. The lock isn't as I'm out of practice. The lock isn't... The luck is... I'm out of practice.